Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Canada's Sportsbook.
SDPP. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
What?
Look at you all married.
Married We have very similar rings, my friend.
We do.
Wow,
because guys are really boring. Oh, look
Listen,
at Jesse.
here's the thing. We do need.
Undivorced.
I think I can say this. I got a text message from someone in the 604 who works for the Canucks.
BC.
Yeah, Rachel Dory. She said in the divorce voice, marriage? Anyway, she said, congrats, you deserve it. So really nice. I got some great messages. Thank you so much for them. Explain! Okay, so what happened was I planned a house party or a housewarming party 6 months in advance. Now, we've lived in this house for like 18 months. So people were like, what? We're like, well, it's really just like an excuse to get people together. It's not in the middle of the summer. We want September. Nobody does anything. So we're like, let's do a little September barbecue thing. Mm-hmm. And it'll be a chance for friends and family to get to know each other because Natalie and I started seeing each other in, the depths of the pandemic. So a lot of our family hadn't met. A lot of our friends haven't met, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. What it actually was, and we had planned this in advance, was we got married on August 6th of this year. So literally, I think it was the week that we wrapped on.
It was.
We wrapped on the Wednesday. We filmed 2 episodes. We did the calculation at your party.
Oh, you did?
Talking about
okay.
it, yeah.
All right.
So you got married on the Saturday after we wrapped on the Wednesday.
That's right.
And Jesse and I did not know.
No, you didn't. Nobody knew, actually. Our parents didn't know.
Even it was a surprise to them as well.
No, they weren't there. They were not. Nobody was there.
Wow.
Yeah, the only people that knew, and because we had to, was because Lauren's sister. I guess is my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law. Now I have to get used to saying that. And the only reason we told them was because we had to bring somebody to witness it. Because we called City Hall and they're like, "Well, who's going to be your witness?" And we're like, do we have to? And they're like, yeah, it's the legal part of it. So that's why I did it. And the thing is like, obviously, weddings are a gigantic pain, as I'm sure you remember.
Yeah.
And we wanted to avoid all the gigantic pain stuff and just enjoy the day and then get away from our honeymoon in Mexico, which is what we did. And then tell our parents when we got back, which is what we did. And then tell all our friends when they were all together in the house. And that was sort of the thing. So I saw some comment about you guys not being the best men or something like that. I'm like, these guys are already fucking groomsmen in my first wedding. Like, clearly, like they've already done their part. Okay. It was more like it was nobody was going to know because it was just going to be ours for the first 6 weeks. And to be honest with you, I really liked that. It was kind of cool to just have it. It wasn't like, oh, we're lording the secret over people, but it did feel like we got exactly the wedding we wanted.
Oh, I could tell.
Like everything
it
was just
joyous.
So casual too.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
So before I want to ask about the day, like when you went down to City Hall, because afterwards you went to like Casa Loma, I saw from the photos.
So we go down
but before you do that, I want to know about the planning and how this came to fruition, because you started planning this party back in March. So when did you decide to do this secret wedding and then all plan it out? And then when did you guys decide?
So we knew we were going to get married about a year ago. We just, one day we were talking and it's funny. You have these conversations with people and it's weird. They kind of come out of nowhere. So we're like going to sleep and having this conversation. And we were talking about how we wanted to stay together forever, as people do or want to do sometimes.
They got a word for that.
Yeah. Well, and so on our first date, we both said to each other, I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm ever getting married again. She's like, great, because I have no interest in ever getting married. But then, you're all of a sudden you're in each other's lives and we live together and we're forming this life together. And I looked at her and I said, like, I don't want to be 65 and be like, this is my girlfriend. You know what I mean? This is my girlfriend of 30 years. I wanted it to be, well, is it my partner? And then so she's my partner. How do I show people that she has a very special place in my life? Well, and then I looked at her, I was like, do you want to just get married? And she's like, yeah, I think we should do that. And it was sort of like, both of us were like, really? So then when we started to plan it, Jesse, we knew we were going to do that. So we planned the party first, and then we planned the actual ceremony. Like this is how much this mattered. The party mattered more than the actual ceremony. And got all the paperwork and stuff together, and then we got our rings made by Sue. My girl at Direct Diamond, Sue at Direct Diamond, she's great. So, and actually, there is a.
I also have a diamond person.
Shout out Sue.
Sue rules. If you want Sue's contact, message me because she makes beautiful rings. But Natalie had an inscription put on the inside of the ring, and then there's the date of our wedding.
Does it say sports are fun?
It doesn't say sports. It should. It should. But she got the date wrong. So no, it's the right date now. But I looked at it and it said 09/09/22, and so that would have been September 9th.
Oh no!
And I looked at Sue. I was like, that's not our. We're at 08/06 or 06/08, depending upon what you dated on. So yeah, it was August 6th. So then so we planned the party. We invited people. It's funny. I remember inviting Jax and TJ, and they're like, we have to talk about this on the air. This is so stupid. Why are you inviting us to a housewarming party? You've lived in this house a year already. And I was like, well, I'm trying to be respectful of your time. And then they both forgot, and neither of them made it. So, and Jax on the air this morning was like, I was so upset. I cannot believe I didn't make it. But it's just the way it goes, right? And when you have a surprise wedding, you have to expect people are not going to take you seriously. Or they're going to think it's an engagement party, which I think most people thought it was. Mm-hmm. And
I thought it was a marriage.
You did.
Steve nailed it.
Did you think it was a marriage before you walked in my front door?
I thought it was a wedding that we were coming to.
Okay.
And
like you thought there was going to be like a service.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but then the second I walked in the door, and if you've seen the social media posts, I saw Natalie's dress. I went, they're married. They got married, and they're done with that. They're married.
Well, no offense to the service part, but the fun part's the reception.
Oh,
right.
I had a great time on no sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because I love you.
It's fun because
I love you, Adam Wilde.
In what was it, March when you invited everybody? April, March.
Yeah,
I had no idea. I genuinely thought it was a housewarming.
Oh, that's cool.
And then only within the last week, when I started talking about it with Steve, did we kind of suspect that something was going on. And I thought, it was either that day you were getting married that day or engagement.
Right.
And I had no idea you would have already been married. It blew my mind.
I had a mini panic attack because Steve was going to be in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And when you asked me to switch the flight, I'm like, they're married.
Yeah. I was like,
they're getting married.
I was like, Steve, I hate to be difficult, but you need to be at this party.
It's all right. It was a lot of fun. So I got on the plane at 3:00 in the morning Toronto time in Vegas, landed at 7, slept from 9 to noon, got up fresh as a daisy, let me tell you.
God bless you.
Came to the party. It was great. I warmed up though. Powered by beer.
You guys were great, and it was Mrs. Dangle showed up after taking Leo to his very first Blue Jays game.
In a Jays jersey?
She's like, I'm going to change. I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's supposed to be like a barbecue feel. The only thing I said to her, she's like, how do we dress for this? And I'm like, don't let Steve show up in his Bert and Ernie shirt, which he showed up twice for in the shows last week. We recorded shows Monday and Tuesday. We released the Tuesday show Wednesday, and Steve's wearing the same shirt in both of them.
I don't know. I don't pay it that
on
close
the floor.
attention.
I put it on 34.
And had I not been in Vegas, I would have got this done because SL told me that little piece of feedback he gave her, Adam Wilde. So I looked into getting a button-up shirt with a giant Bert and Ernie.
Oh my God!
I still think I need to get it.
Adam, what did you wear to your own wedding?
I wore
wedding in the reception.
What color was the collar?
I never said collar.
What,
all I said was no.
What brand were your sweatpants?
They were not sweatpants. They were linen pants, and they were nice linen pants. And the shirt was Armani.
And a t-shirt.
Yeah, it was an Armani t-shirt. Natalie was like, you should wear that shirt. And I was like, okay, well, if you say so.
T-shirt and sweatpants, guy.
Guys, it was not a t-shirt.
So back to the day of you actually get married.
Yes.
So you go to City Hall, and then afterward, what did you do?
SL showed me the text message, and it says, a nice collar. You son of a gun.
And you did wear a nice collar.
I showed you.
And then promptly spilled beer on it and was like, can I borrow a t-shirt?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's nice being the same size.
So after
It is, isn't it?
your guys' like ideal wedding day, you did everything you wanted. So
Yeah.
after City Hall, what happened?
Well, so actually, what was funny is that we're trying to leave from the Ritz-Carlton, and what City Hall says to you is, if you're not here, we'll move on. Like, you don't get married today. Because I guess what happens is a lot of people show up late because, you know, grooms are late, brides are late, people are getting ready, moms, dads, whatever. They're trying to shove everybody in that tiny City Hall room where you get married. And so we had a 6 o'clock Saturday night marriage time. And they're like, if you're more than 10 minutes late, you're not getting married.
My cousin stood at the altar for an hour because his wife's limo driver took a wrong turn.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Holy shit. That's kind of scary. Why did they walk him down the aisle?
He could have sat down. I don't know what he was doing.
I hope somebody sent a text message and said, "Hey, just a heads up, she is coming."
Yeah, I don't think he had his phone on him.
Oh my god!
No,
communication is
important. There was
important.
communication.
Okay, good. So we're leaving because we decided we're like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, it's our wedding, and we're spending almost nothing on this, right? Like I bought a nice suit, which I have not had since before the pandemic, so I have now a suit.
Hey.
And it fits me, which is good because my other suits didn't. You know, bodies change. And then Natalie bought a dress, and then we're like, you know what? Why don't we stay in a nice hotel? So we stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, and because it's our wedding, what the hell? Right. So the makeup person shows up and does Natalie's makeup and does her hair, and I'm just sitting playing computer games and watching Real Housewives because that's what Natalie wanted to have on before our wedding. And like just sitting in the hotel room talking to them, like nothing's going on. And then so we get ready, we get dressed, we get downstairs, and we have 2 Ubers cancel on us. Ubers? Consecutively. Yeah, because we're trying to get an Uber to City Hall, which is, I'm not kidding, 5 minutes drive away. Yeah. And so now we're sweating because it's like everything's been going great. And now it's like, oh shit, if we run late, we're totally screwed. So we thankfully got there on time. We ran in, we go up the elevators or whatever. And this is a total gentleman, bit of a thick German accent, comes in. He's like, hello, are you doing your wedding? And like, whatever. And and it's so funny, right? Because it's like, again, it's real bare bones. They bring out like a CD player from the late 90s where you can see the CD spinning and they run that, they run the music or whatever. And then, and it was great. And we didn't have a photographer. We didn't do any of that. So we have a bunch of pictures that were like shots that we took. We leave. The next wedding party is waiting. And they were like, hey, congrats. And we're like, you too. It was just kind of weird, right? It's like one wedding after another. And then, we went to Blue Bloods, which is in Casa Loma here in Toronto. I'd never been. And what was so cool, I don't know if you've never been to Casa Loma in Toronto, which I'd never stepped foot in the building.
I'd been once a few years ago, yeah.
Everybody's getting married there in the summer. So there's a picture of us. There's pictures of us all over Casa Loma on my Instagram. But one of them's in front of this old Cadillac from the 80s. And a few people, like knowing I'm a car guy, are like, where did you get that Cadillac? Who did you borrow that from? I'm like, I didn't. It was someone else's wedding, and we just took a picture in front of it. So, like, perfect thing for me. Like, super cheap. And the one thing they do at Casa Loma that's so cool is if you order the Caesar salad, they bring a big bowl and they make the Caesar salad in front of you, but they do it in like layers.
It's big presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see anything get set on fire? There's something that they set on fire.
There's like a souffle or something that they do. I didn't get that. We got
set
steaks.
It on fire.
Yeah.
I just liked it and went, you want to order that? No.
No.
It's cooler from over there. All right.
So, and then, but when we did leave City Hall, the one thing that was awesome was there's a gigantic Vietnamese festival happening right there. So there might have been 10, 15,000 people out front just milling around. So we got a bunch of pictures in that, and it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful August Saturday night, and then we had the party. So it was great.
You're all grown up.
I know. All grown up again.
I did on the flight to Vegas. I didn't write anything down, but I planned a loose speech in case you threw that at me.
I wouldn't have put you in that position.
Well, I don't know. I was like, okay, well, I'm flying home for this. So I don't
So what did you have prepared?
I was just going to talk about how you guys are made for each other and you're still goofy honeymoon head over heels for each other, you just loving little lovers.
That would have been a really bad speech.
I know you just. I hope you wrote that down.
Well, it would have been better than that.
Can we get that on a shirt, Jesse? Just that you loving the
I don't
lovers?
think anybody should wear that shirt.
It's just the first letter of every word of my speech across the shirt. Yep. Nope. That's made. That's already made. Someone's made it. Nick, producer Nick, there was a clip from the CJ show, and he was like, how did someone take this already and meme it?
Yeah.
People are crafty.
They're very quick, very, very quick on the draw. Yeah. So that's what happened. And then before that, you were in Henderson, Nevada, my friend.
Yeah. Home of the Henderson Silver Knights.
How did the whole NHL thing go?
I have to say, I could not be more pleased with how it went. Seriously. Like, work trips, there's going to be breakage. There's going to be things that don't go your way. There's going to be scheduling hiccups. I, honest to God, couldn't be happier.
Great. That's awesome. I can't wait to see this stuff.
Me neither. So it was obviously 2 days, and I had a co-host, Emily Agard, and what we basically did was almost every player, we didn't play this with every player, but almost every player came in and we played Pucktionary, which is hockey-related Pictionary. And it was a hit.
Yeah?
Players loved it. In fact, so we started day one with Trevor Zegras. Oh, yeah, and I should say, after Pictionary, Emily and I would rotate splitting the guests. So she does Trevor Zegras, and he was really great with the Pictionary. He was great with the questions. Second was Jake Ottinger, who was the biggest player who we interviewed and one of the most handsome human beings I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't even know
what Jake looks like.
Exactly, because he's a goalie and always hidden behind the mask, and that will become relevant in a moment. But what he did, handsome. I think it was him. I'm not totally sure. But basically, all these players get run around, and some of them are tired because it's early, or they're tired because it's late, and you're the 20th thing they've done that day. A player, I think it was whoever came after Jake Ottinger, was like, hey, like, what can I expect in this room? And Ottinger goes, oh, no, you'll like it. It's a lot of fun. And that's great because it makes its way down the conga line and word spreads. And when they get to our room, they're like so ready to have fun. Darcy Kemper was like alarmingly nice and friendly.
Really?
There were two players where I was like, I don't think I've ever met them, but they're acting like I'm their best friend, and I don't.
That's great.
Like way above and beyond, including the third guy we had that day. So
Mark Messier.
Remember I told you, no, we didn't have Mark Messier. Remember I told you that we have a strict list of guests, but when I interviewed Patrice Bergeron all those years ago, he was a walk-in.
Yes.
He just walked in and he was like, am I supposed to be here? And I lied and told him yes, and I got an interview out of it. So, third player of the day after Jake Ottinger, he walks in. I don't recognize him. I recognize his face. I don't know who he is. And I've studied our list.
Yeah.
I studied our list. I know what I'm going to ask. I don't know who the other players are because there was no point allocating time to studying them because we weren't going to get them. So this guy walks in. I recognize his face. I go, okay. I'll know him as soon as I introduce myself. I go, hi, I'm Steve. He shakes my hand. He goes, hi, I'm Jeremy. Nothing. No idea who this person is. And we're like about to start 5, 4, and with the my little Sportsnet card blocking my face, I look at Emily. I go, who is this? Mm. And she goes, oh, no, here, wait. And she comes up to me with her phone, and she goes, you should ask him this question. And she types Jeremy Swayman.
Oh, God bless. That's amazing.
Really smart. But as soon as she did that, I'm like, oh, it's Jeremy Swayman. I know all about Jeremy Swayman. But I hadn't, again, he's a goalie.
Yeah.
So it's not like I studied Jeremy Swayman's face.
If you saw Jeremy Swayman at Loblaws, you wouldn't be able to recognize him.
No. And like I knew who Jake Ottinger was because I'm like, yeah, he's the biggest one here. There he is.
That 6'5" guy.
With the biggest dome. Biggest dome in the world.
What about Adam Wilde?
No. That's you pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. That's regular cranium. No, he has to have the biggest goalie mask in human history. I've never met Ben Bishop, but
okay.
Huge. Anyway, but handsome. There's so much handsome on the
good
big
for
head.
it. By the way, I just want to say, Emily coming through in the clutch there.
Yeah.
A little spotlight needs to be made for that.
So clever. And yeah, I just had to thank her over and over again. Everyone came ready and willing to play. It was so nice. Like everyone just made my job easier. No one's lost a game in months, right? So everyone's in a good mood. We got Matthews, we got Riley.
I like that. No one's lost a game in months.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
No one's lost a game
There's
in
that
months.
hope of the new season, right?
Yeah, like All-Star, you got voted there. You didn't necessarily sign up for this. And,
You'd rather be on vacation mid-season.
you'd 100%
You'd rather be Ovi, who just says, fuck the All-Star game, I'm going to Hawaii.
Yeah, and there's some, the rookies are like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun. I will say, sometimes I forget how young these guys are because I didn't get to talk to this person in Vegas, but Henderson. I didn't get to talk to this person in Henderson, but American Freege did an interview with Quinn Hughes, a completely different person from the guy I talked to in St. Louis.
No kidding.
Like just so much more confident and sure of himself. And he was a rookie when I spoke to him. He didn't want to make waves. I go, who's the weirdest guy in the Canucks? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I think we're all, tight-knit group or whatever. Elias Pettersson comes in 20 minutes later. I go, who's the weirdest Canuck? He goes, oh, Quinn Hughes, no question. Right away.
You would have talked to him when he was like 19.
Yeah. And now he comes in, and he's really not much older than that. He's like 22.
But you do change a lot in those years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. By the way, I heard this morning that he's potentially, because the Canucks couldn't upgrade their right side, he's potentially moving over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's been practicing on that all year, so they're going to give it a shot at camp. I just thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Like he's objectively their best defenseman, and it's like, you know what? Why don't we try you on that side?
Let's
then?
make it harder.
Yeah,
yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Thought that was cool. So it was successful and fun.
Yeah,
and no drama, which I love.
And got to talk to new Rangers captain Jacob Trouba, new Habs captain Nick Suzuki.
He's the captain of the Rangers. I forgot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was
wow.
Which Leafs?
Matthews and Riley.
Oh.
So it's a shame because I'm not going to get to talk to them tomorrow at Leafs Media Day because the agreement is basically, all right, you bug us at one event, you don't get to bug us at the other, which that makes perfect sense.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't want them twice. Right?
No, but it does mean I get Marner. I think. So this is the other thing with all this news today. I don't know what you're transitioning into, but with Liljegren and Engvall, who are both on our list, like I don't know if they're going to be there. I will say Jason Robertson was initially supposed to be on our list for Henderson. And we didn't get to talk to him because that gentleman is not under NHL contract.
Oh, right.
Right. So
of course.
I mean, it makes sense that he wasn't there.
Actually, I'm not going to transition right into the Leafs right now. I'm going to transition into You Can Bet That because there's something having to do with Mitch Marner in it.
Right.
And I think you're going to like this. So remember, it's 19 plus. Please play responsibly. So we wanted to bring David on. And I hate to make this joke at the expense of David. But
there's no internet in Winnipeg.
And he's in Winnipeg. And he can't get good internet service. So
it was real choppy. And we're like, bail.
So the Wi-Fi did not work. But he did want to pass this on to you. sportsinteraction.com/SDPN.
To be fair, he's out in the middle of a lake. He's not necessarily in downtown Winnipeg.
Like what, on a boat?
I don't know.
So let me ask you what you would take.
The view.
There is a prop right now at sportsinteraction.com/STPN. You can bet on Mitch Marner's points for the season. Over 99.5 or under 99.5. What do you take?
So he's never scored over 100 points, but he's scored at over 100 point pace like 3 times.
Yes.
2 of them were cut short, I think, for COVID.
The last 2 seasons, yeah.
And this past season, he scored at well above 100 point pace, but he missed 10 games.
Yes.
So it's similar. It's a similar conversation to Matthews, where I mean, there's so many factors that go into scoring 60 goals. I think I want to take the under here. I know. I think I want to take the under here because there's so many things that go into a 60 goal season or a 100 point season.
Mm-hmm.
And you need a few things in order for Marner to hit 100.
Okay.
You need Bunting to be better than he was, which that's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. He had like 64, 5 points. And you need Matthews to score 60 goals again. You're going to get some help on the power play. Marner developed his shot, so he's going to be shooting more, but a goal is a point. It's going to be a very close one. I'm going to go with like a repeat, like a 97.
Okay. Jesse?
I think it's so close last year. I would definitely take the over that he's going to hit 100. I think you're with that bet, you're banking on everything going right, like you said, but scoring keeps going up, and I think we can bank on the Leafs having a very high scoring offense once again. And Mitch Marner is going to be part of that. I think he'll hit 100.
And up until last season, like, he was remarkably healthy. He's playing in every game. And the thing is that because his shot developed, and I don't know if other teams will now adjust to this, his shooting percentage was up 3%, 3 full percent last year, from 12.8 to 15.8. He had 35 goals.
15.8?
Shot 15.8 last year.
I'm surprised he shot 12 previously.
I know. His career average is 12-1.
I thought it'd be closer to like 9.
Yeah,
right.
That's a narrative that changed rather aggressively. It wasn't even that he couldn't score. It's just he couldn't score in the power play.
Right.
And then he figured it out.
But then, and so this is where I think the Leafs have a couple of things going for them this year, and this is why I'm going over. First off, their power play's better than it has been. Last year's power play was so
Pretty
much
good.
better.
Yeah.
It was where we told you, like at the beginning of last season, if it's not in the top 5, that's a failure. Yeah. It was in the top 5.
Top unit doesn't change either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think if you add 10 more games, he gets close to that 40 goal plateau.
Oh, yeah.
Because he played 72 last year. I don't see him not. He could do 60 assists again. He did 68 assists in 82 games in 18-19 when he was playing Tavares full time.
I was about to say a big factor is going to be how Tavares does on the power play
as
well. Marner just throwing it into the slot, and it's either a tap in or a bang and crash.
Yeah. So I'm going over. Okay. I'm taking over.
All right. I hope he does.
Okay. So again, it's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. We're getting to the Leafs next. You've heard us talk to you about Athletic Greens before, and if you're wondering what they are, well, one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. It's a special blend of ingredients that supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All things that Steve Dangle doesn't have to worry about.
Yep. Ever. My
Just
strongest friend uses Athletic Greens. My tallest and strongest.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
You use it, right?
Jesse Blake.
That's right. It's cost you less than $3 a day. And right now, to make it easy, we want you to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into flu and cold season, and especially if you're a parent. Yay. 1 scoop of water every day. That's it. You don't have to do the million different pills. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/SDP. And that, again, is athleticgreens.com/SDP. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate in daily nutritional insurance. Welcome to Fresh Ball Fall.
Fresh Ball Fall.
It's a season of pumpkin spice and making sure your crotch looks nice.
Oh, listen.
Literally, that's the script.
That feels more Christmassy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll allow it.
What about sipping cider in a fall breeze and using Manscaped products to trim your balls with ease?
Okay, that one I like. I also like cider a lot.
Today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, a company here to make sure that your foliage isn't the only thing shedding its excess leaves. Heck, even Mother Nature knows it's time to lose the excess clutter for fall. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off with the free promo code DANGLE. Get that performance package 4.0 for your family jewels. You know the royal family's in the news, right?
When your significant other takes you to a pumpkin patch,
yes,
to get a pumpkin because it's fall season, do you recommend having shaved balls?
I mean, I think it's more convenient.
Having what?
Shaved balls?
I don't. Oh, you mean a Sack-O-Lantern?
Okay. Let's get out of this. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use that code DANGLE. Manscaped, clear out the leaves. It's your tree trunk's time to shine. Wow.
Sack-O-Lantern.
There's been a lot that's happened since we last did our show Wednesday last week, right? A lot.
Since I woke up this morning.
I know. So we're going to start with the this morning stuff.
Okay.
And then we're going to do some yesterday stuff, and then we're going to do some late last week stuff.
Okay.
So this morning stuff is, I guess Engvall was a little bit yesterday as well, but Timothy Liljegren, it looks like he's going to miss camp.
CJ had both.
Engvall is going to miss something. We're not sure how much yet. He's apparently hurt.
They made it sound like both could be relatively long term, like just by the wording. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe they're back for game one, but didn't sound like it.
Well, and as of this point, I don't think the Leafs have made a statement on it.
Nope.
They had just released the milk jerseys, and that's all we have.
Oh, yeah.
As the milk sponsor.
Chris Johnston said they will update the status tomorrow when camp opens.
There you go. So you'll be there for it.
I'll be there. I have no idea if I'm going to get to speak to them, and I'm not there for hard news anyway. So I don't know. That'll be up to whoever we got there. Sean McKenzie, maybe?
Probably. Yeah. Sean or Kyle Bukauskas, right?
I assume Friedman and
one of two.
Merrick will be there too.
Handsome people.
Yeah.
Well, and they'll probably be too because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So that said, I think that's significant. Now, I did love somebody tweeted at us this morning and said, "Oh man, Dubas convincing Liljegren to go on LTIR is great stuff for Sandin signing his contract, but he doesn't need to be on LTIR until game one." I don't think they're close on Sandin. It looks like he's using a contract where a guy's making probably like $1 million more per season than the Leafs want to pay him as a comparable.
It was Boquist,
right?
Yeah, Frege and Merrick were talking about that.
So I think they're still pretty far apart on that. Jamie Benn, Victor Mete, Justin Hall. Jordy Benn, Victor Mete, and Justin Hall are guys that can all slot in. Mm-hmm. So, without those two guys who were arguably two of the best defensemen they had last year, again, I feel like the Leafs need to have a little more trust in Sandin. It's going to be very interesting coming out of camp to see where these spots, because that's major. If you're Jordy Benn or Victor Mete, all of a sudden you're like, yes, there's my opportunity. It's golden.
Brody was playing a lot of left side last season, but we know he can play right as well. Might even be more comfortable there. So maybe you go back to Riley Brody. Hall can go back with Muzzin, and then maybe you have Zdeno on the left and not on the left, on the right, because I believe he can play both sides.
What's the hesitation with Zdeno and Riley playing together? Have they tried that?
I don't really think they have, and I think they definitely could for like short periods of time.
Because I guess Gio probably couldn't handle the same miles that Riley could, maybe?
Yeah, but
he's in amazing shape.
It's also October. Oh, well, it will be October anyway. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Then you can go Riley, Gio, Brody with Muzzin, and Hall with someone. Basically.
Yeah. Interchangeable guy until somebody earns the spot.
I think both Ben and Mete play both sides. So
right.
They're fine. I'm really not overly concerned about the Liljegren thing. Mm-hmm. Engvall, I think, is actually going to be more difficult for them to manage. Jesse's got the depth chart up right now. And as it stands, I'm just going to pretend like Kerfoot's staying on the team. Bunting and Kerfoot are in the on the top two lines on the left side, but then Engvall is a very key part of the penalty kill, very key part of the third line, and under him, daily faceoff has Wayne Simmons. Mm-hmm. Like that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for a team if they are trying to subtract Kerfoot.
Yeah,
Engvall, people were talking about like the heir apparent, either him or Nick Robertson, for that top 6 spot. So if he's out for any significant amount of time, that's going to be a big hole in the Leafs lineup.
Yes.
We shouldn't be so quick to trade Kerfoot. Kerfoot's very useful to this team.
I don't get that one either, Jesse.
I think they've made the same realization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it'll be fascinating to see how that all breaks out. So the Kyle Dubas's comments we'll get tomorrow. We will be back with this show on Friday. Is that our next show? Yeah. Friday this week?
Sorry, that's my fault.
No, it's okay. So that's sort of what we have from camp. Now, I think much bigger news is obviously that you had 3 major retirements this morning. Zdeno Chara, PK Subban, and Keith Yandle. And everybody's laughing at me at throwing Keith Yandle in there. But Keith Yandle was a force when Keith Yandle was at his height. He was an unbelievable player.
Like a 50, 60 point defenseman. That's a lot, man. It's a lot. Rangers gave up a significant package for him. Talked about that in the Martin St. Louis trade treat. He was a guy, man. He was a guy. And with that Iron Man streak.
Oh yeah.
And everything. He don't remember him for being a healthy scratch on the Flyers. He had a pretty good career before that.
Yeah, and I think the problem I think a lot of people forget with Yandle is he played a lot of it in Arizona. And they didn't really get the publicity that perhaps they should have for some of those players. Some of those Mike Smith years, those Keith Yandle years, some other players down there that had amazing seasons back in the day.
And speaking of longevity, the other two guys who retired, two defensemen who were at the top of their game. Like two defensemen who, for at least 1 year, were declared the best defenseman in their sport. Chara must have won a Norris. I don't remember when.
I'll find out.
He did win a Norris.
Yeah.
Only one?
He was nominated a bunch of times. Subban won a Norris in the lockout shortened season. But Subban, career cut short.
2009.
2009 is when he won the Norris?
Yeah.
And he beat out Nicholas Lidstrom and Mike Green. And Nicholas Lidstrom won it 6 times.
Never heard of them. Never heard of them. Subban, career cut short by at least half a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Chara is 45. So two guys drafted 11 years apart. Chara was drafted in 1996. Subban in 2007, retired on the same day. And didn't I call this? Sort of. Like,
we had the conversation.
Yeah.
Could Subban have played in the NHL this year? Yeah, absolutely. Like, in terms of ability. Could he have signed for league minimum? Yeah. But, I mean, we know he's played through a lot of pain in recent years with the famed back injury, and I'm sure a cacophony of other injuries. And for a guy who's been a star for as long as he has, I mean, it's probably just not worth it to go through a 82 game plus playoff schedule for league minimum. If you're a multi-millionaire, he made like $75-80 million in his career.
Well, and I can imagine ESPN and TNT have already called him this morning and said, what do you want to do?
So
Sportsnet,
there's a show called Eli's Places on ESPN right now. I don't know if you saw over the weekend, there was a viral clip from one of the episodes where Eli Manning, the former quarterback for the New York Giants, he dressed up in like costume and he went undercover as a recruit for like Penn State, and he like tried out for the team. So PK has already signed a deal to create his own called PK's Places. It's going to be equivalent to Eli's show. So that's already in the works. It's going to come out in 2024
with ESPN?
I believe. And the NHL has the rights to produce the series.
There it is.
So it's already in the works.
So why beat up your body again?
Yeah.
The theory about him signing deals is already pen to paper. It's already been signed.
You want to do that, or you want to go in the corner with Jordan Staal? By the way, the reason I brought him up, he was one of the guys I met on the player tour. Holy shit.
Big?
If there was a biopic made about him, Brock Lesnar would play him. He's enormous.
Really?
There's sometimes you meet a guy and you're like, it'd be fun, in my fantasy world, it'd be fun to play in the National Hockey League. And then I met Jordan Staal and I went, nah, there's lots of ways to make a living.
Yeah.
There's lots of other ways to make a living.
There's plenty of things we could be doing.
He's got like Olympic weightlifter leg-sized forearms. He's just thick. Farm Thunder Bay boy thick. Yeah, he's a terrifying individual who's extremely nice.
Until you make him mad, or you have to go in the corners with him.
Until you make him mad. And a vet. Such a vet. He was the only player to come into our room with no team representation.
Oh,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no one like tagged along with him. I'm Jordan Staal. I know how to do this.
What are you going to tell him no?
Yeah.
Zdeno Chara's effect on the game. I mean, what's fascinating about Zdeno Chara's career for me is that there are two teams that said, no, we'd rather have this player other than Zdeno Chara. And it starts with Mike Milbury with the New York Islanders. He wanted Alexei Yashin so badly that he gave up Jason Spezza and Zdeno Chara, who both retired this year. He wanted him.
Wow.
That is, and again, I feel like we need to do a series on the worst trades in NHL history. That's got to be top 10.
It's up there. Oh, dude, he's
just a Well, Mike Milbury's GM stint was not good.
He was GM of the Islanders for 11 years.
It's crazy.
11 years.
It's crazy.
And his hit list is the stuff of legend. Might go down as the worst GM in NHL history.
And then you have the Ottawa Senators, who had a choice when the salary cap was instituted. You have 7'2" god Zdeno Chara, or a guy that you drafted highly but is probably on the tail end of his career, Wade Redden. And they took Wade Redden.
As a duo, they were unbeatable.
They were crazy.
And the sun set on that. And I remember
they chose the wrong guy.
Well,
and I remember at the time thinking I think we were in like grade 9 or something. It was like, that's the wrong
something
call.
Like that.
You can't, like, Zdeno Chara's just size alone.
Chara, though, signed for more. He signed for 7.5. Redden, I want to say, was 6. That sounds like a negligible difference these days.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember the cap was like 50 million, something like that. And I mean, they obviously picked the wrong guy, but
for $1.5 million more, they'd take Chara every day. Every team.
They should have. I remember as a Leaf fan being like, all right, Bruins, go ahead and make that bet. I think it was 2007.
Good bet.
And they're going to get screwed. And they very did not.
Yeah, no, they did great.
He captained them to a cup 4 years after they signed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was great that he signed the one-day contract today with the Bruins.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
It's cool that they
in
did
his
that.
retirement post, he said, I signed a one-day contract and I officially retired as a Bruin. I feel like more players should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's such a nice move.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see today if PK signed the one day with the Canadians and, you kind of do a hug and make up kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
After
They
getting
did
traded.
congratulate him. They sent out a tweet.
Oh, that's not the same.
I know.
Yeah, it'd be great if they could bring him back in some capacity. I just don't know if that's going to
All right.
happen.
If he even wants that, I don't know. But I love
That's a Jeff Molson thing.
Yeah, I love the one-day contracts. It warms my heart when I see retired players do that.
Yeah,
I wish the Raptors had been able to do that with Vince. I don't know why that didn't happen.
That's another contentious conversation.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know he kind of left and was a jerk, but it's still also inspired a whole generation of basketball players. So it's like, what on balance?
Yeah. Right.
I'm picturing Joe Thornton right now. Like, you guys are right. You should sign a 1-year contract as a farewell. He's going to sign with the Sharks, man.
You think so?
I do.
No, well, why not? Like, Erik Karlsson didn't go there to lose, so get him in there. I think PK's impact's interesting as well, because for the longest time, he was the only one with real personality. Like, the last person I can remember who had quotes that stuck out, like in the NHL, that really stuck out like PK's did. Obviously, there was Sean Avery, but his stuck out for like the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Sean Avery, like, they were always like, he's being a shithead and they got to suspend him.
Yeah.
But one guy I remember that really stuck out was Brett Hull. He was as outwardly critical of the game as I've ever seen. He had a personal brand. Like, Brett Hull, people forget, had his own brand, international brand of GT snow racers in the 90s. He had his own GT snow racer. Look it up. It's Brett Hull with a mullet. And it's blue and white. St. Louis Blues branded and everything. That never happens today.
And he caught the same amount of shit for it.
Caught no shit for it.
Yeah.
PK Subban was electrifying as a rookie, and all the way up until the back injury started to kick in. Amazing
NHL debut in the playoffs.
And I think what was also cool is he was such a there you go, Jesse, throwing it up there. Anatomy of a winner, and it's your GT snow racer.
It is sturdy structure, superior muscle control, superior steering control, patented steering mechanism, dual operated foot brakes.
There was a time in our childhood where Brett Hull was on absolutely everything.
I have breaking news.
Oh.
Nathan MacKinnon is the highest paid player in the NHL. Put Twitter down, please.
Whoa!
Put Twitter down, please. Put Twitter down.
It's open to Brett Hull.
Okay, cool.
Put it down. Put it.
All right.
Okay.
How much money does Nathan MacKinnon make?
We can only go so high because it's 12.5 for McDavid, and then the maximum is 14, I believe.
No, I think the maximum is
because what's
16.
because the cap's 81.5, and then the max is how much percentage? 30, 20 something.
Yeah. So
the math is bad.
Here's the number I had in my head this morning because I was actually thinking about this. His ridiculous sweetheart deal with the Avalanche was 6.3, and I think he's going to just clean double it. 12.6. That would put him over McDavid.
I think it's higher than that.
Yeah.
My guess is 13.5.
Steve Dangle nails it. $12.6 million.
Well done.
12.6. It's
Wow.
$100,000 more than McDavid. And by the way,
Nice.
there are a bunch of people going, I thought he said he would take a hometown discount. Guys, this is a hometown discount. Nathan MacKinnon's worth 15 or 16 million bucks a year. And I keep thinking now, Matthews and McDavid deals are going to be huge.
Oh,
McDavid's still 3 years away.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I mean. 2025, man. That is going to be a crazy summer, and McDavid's going to make like 16, 17 million bucks a year.
now let me throw this out there.
Okay, go ahead.
He could have easily taken like 100,000 less, or 150,000 less.
But who cares?
No, wait though. Quinn Hughes was talking about his own contract negotiations on 32 Thoughts, and what's the difference? 7.5, 7.2, 8.1. I'm still going to be like rich, right? It's just millions of dollars. Does this not feel just a little bit like MacKinnon is Price is writing McDavid?
Yes.
A little bit,
And he
because Quinn Hughes said it's an ego play.
Well, I think first off, Nathan MacKinnon, because his contract expired this year, is the best, or is going to expire.
Yeah.
Sorry, is the best player available currently. Therefore, if he's the best player available currently, and he's like a top 5 player in the league, he should be the highest paid. And if I were him, I would say, listen, I don't want to kill the Avalanche here. I know that we have salary cap constraints. I want to keep this going for a long, long time. I'm an extremely competitive guy. It took forever to get here. I want to be able to get players and whatever. But at the same time, Nathan MacKinnon, just based on when his contract was signed and how good he is, should be the highest paid player in the NHL. And he said that, I bet he said it to Joe Sakic. He's probably like, listen, he didn't get Kadri back. So that money's going to me.
Yeah, I wonder if we can get something done with Nas,
then
I'll
maybe
help you out a
maybe
little.
we wait or something. Yeah, he wouldn't have had to re-sign this year at all.
He's gonna have to do some pretty heavy lifting, man. Like I think we talked about this recently. The Avalanche have guys up the middle. They don't have guys like Nazem Kadri, like not even close. They don't at the moment have like a certifiable second line center on a contender.
Yeah,
like JT Comfort did it for a time while Kadri was out. But oh boy, he's gonna have to do a lot of lifting. And I tell you what, how good does that make the Cale Makar contract look?
Oh, that's a crazy deal.
That's a crazy deal. He should be making just as much.
But Nathan was making less than he should have for a long, long time as well, right?
Yeah, so he's making up.
But this is you talk about heavy lifting. Nathan MacKinnon does the heavy lifting.
Yes.
Since 17-18, he has scored at around 100 point a game or 100 point a year pace.
Can you imagine?
He's never at 100-point season. He's
never
scored 40 goals once.
This goes back to the Marner conversation. It's hard. It's hard.
But again, there's some injuries and stuff. Like last year, he easily would have had 100 points. He only played 65 games. He came 1 point short in 18-19.
Oh.
And then the previous couple of years have been a bit of a mess. Like 19-20, and I think we forget this, 69 games. He had 93 points, and then COVID hit.
Unbelievable.
Like,
how long is the deal?
The deal's 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the Matthews thing when Matthews was like a greatest 50-goal scorer who had never scored 50 goals. And like Phil Kessel for all those years, he was a great 40-goal scorer who never scored 40 goals.
Still
Nathan MacKinnon
never scored 40.
Never put up a 100-point season, even though all these years has been on pace. Just never worked out.
That's going to look so weird if that's how it ends. Like,
there's no way.
Never having one.
There's no way.
He's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So like we'll have that. One day we'll do like a deep dive of his resume when it's all said and done.
He has more 30-goal seasons than Patrick Kane did when Patrick Kane was named one of the top NHL players of all time.
Wow.
Just throwing that out there.
Wow.
That was 3-time 30-goal scorer Patrick Kane at that point.
How many 100-point seasons?
At that point, I don't know. I don't have Patrick Kane's up, but Nathan MacKinnon has had 1, 2, 3, 4 30-goal plus seasons.
That would be such a good petty thing to do. is go back and look at some of the players who just scraped into the top 100 list,
Mm-hmm.
and then be like, all right, how many players currently playing would be in there now?
Yeah.
Like Malkin wasn't on it. Get out of here. Shut up.
Yeah, lists like that should be rotating lists. It's kind of like Rolling Stone has their 100 greatest albums or whatever, and they're constantly just updating it all the time. Like that's how if you have 100 greatest NHL players, it's just be rotating. You're currently just putting guys in and out.
Just to say you were on it for a time.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, I'm 99. Oh,
I got dropped off. It's like power rankings week to week, you know.
I was going to say it's like whoever gets the famed 100 spot on the Hockey News' 100 people of power and influence. I know Greg Wyshynski had it once, and he was like, look, I'm in it. You haven't been on that? Never.
You haven't? Oh,
You've never been on the really?
that's
No,
stupid.
but you look at the people who like barely scrape onto the list, and you're like, oh, all right, fair enough.
I don't know, guys. Steve Dangle.
I think you should be on there.
I don't know.
So anyway, congrats to Nathan MacKinnon. A great deal for the Avalanche. If you're going to pay somebody that kind of money, Nathan MacKinnon's the guy.
Better be good.
And people are, I'm serious, there are people online already arguing that this is not a hometown discount. I have somebody in my mentions asking why players like Nathan are screwing their teams over.
I thought you were going to say at least 14 million. I did.
And honestly, it should be. According to Dom Lucian's got these models, and obviously they're imperfect, but his market value, according to Dom's model, is about 16 and change.
I believe his McDavid's market value is about $20 million.
Yeah.
He should be paid like a basketball player.
They said Matthews 18-19 or something like that. Not that that's actually
like
possible under the current cap, but
Right. The caps, it's ridiculous in how these salaries are being
I
minimized.
think it's strange that under the cap, they can also determine how much you can spend on any one player.
Mm-hmm.
That's strange to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the system we're under. Okay,
When's the CBA expire?
that is a really good question. I think it was redone in the 2020. I think it was for
COVID.
5 years.
Is it 5 years?
It's honestly, there's such a flurry of information that happened at that point that it was like we were all focused on what COVID restrictions the players would be under rather than like what the actual CBA would be.
The COVID extension was through the 2025-26 season. So the off season of 26 is going to be terrible for this show because Steve's going to be upset all the time.
Yeah. Cool. Can't wait.
All we're going to talk about is
wait.
collective bargaining.
Do you have the top cap hits up?
I do.
Okay, because I want to play this game because I think the answer is 2. Toronto Raptors. Who are some of the best Raptors? Name them. who are the best Raptors? I'm playing this game. I don't care.
Well, you got Pascal Siakam, who's the highest paid.
Scotty Barnes.
Yeah,
Scotty Barnes.
but he's a rookie. He's on rookie deals, right?
Yeah, we'll see how much. We'll see what it is.
Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's
Precious Achua.
OG Anunoby.
OG.
Some really good players.
What are you doing?
But you wouldn't put Chris Boucher in the top 5.
No, you wouldn't.
Right. Okay. So
But he's good. He's a 6.
He's in the rotation.
Yeah, he's in the rotation.
Come
Like
on.
he's playing in the playoffs.
Yeah. He's currently on a 3-year contract. And this isn't a slight at Chris Boucher. It's just he's not one of the team's stars.
Mm-hmm.
Dude makes his average salary, according to Sport Track,
Mm-hmm.
11.75 million.
To be a role player on the Raptors.
To be a role player on the Raptors. And he makes more money than all but 2 NHL players, I think.
What did you say? 11 what?
11.75.
11.75 is more than everybody except for Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon.
Well, you know what else is interesting? So how much are the Leafs worth? If you wanted to buy the Toronto Maple Leafs today, don't Google it. Just guess.
A billion? A billion?
A billion.
2.3.
2.3. Okay, so it's $1.8 billion.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
How much are the
That
Raptors
was close.
worth?
The more. Aren't they like
2.5.
2.9.
2.2.
Wow.
But the Raptors are the most valuable sports franchise in Canada.
Most valuable at MLSE. That's crazy.
And it's interesting. If you watch, have you guys seen the documentary on Tim Donaghy
No.
about the
haven't
ref
watched
who was
it.
cheating?
It's on Netflix, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I downloaded it for the flight, but I fell asleep.
There's a few like those the And One documentary, the Manti Te'o documentary, and then the Tim Donaghy
That's really
one.
good. I watched Malice at the Palace.
Good,
Yeah.
so good. You should watch it. If you love sports, you'll love it. But the way they talk a little bit about how the NBA markets, right? How they come to market with their thing, and what they do is they have specific players that are stars. And it's sort of like that's who they market, that's who they market, that's who they market. The NHL doesn't market it that way. And it's clear that the NBA over 20 years is gaining and winning, right? And I think it's fascinating you just mentioned this, the salary difference in what a bench player on the Raptors make versus the top players in the NHL.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating that at Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the Maple Leafs are not the most valuable piece.
Yep.
Isn't that nuts? I just think like it's crazy that in this country, everybody's like, oh, hockey. The Raptors are worth a full $500 million more than the Leafs.
It doesn't always feel like that within this city, but then you forget that there's two teams in a very unique position, and that's the Raptors and the Blue Jays, who have the mantle of representing the entire nation.
Although I think that may change. The Blue Jays are worth just shy of what the Leafs are, $1.78 billion.
I'm surprised it's under.
Well, I think you got the Canadian dollar working against you and stuff like that.
Yeah. Holy shit! Do you ever?
Yeah.
Taking out $100 in
but
Vegas
also baseball's
for
struggling.
$150. That hurt.
Baseball's not doing as well. When they bought the Jays, though, it's crazy. The Jays worth like $150 million. So it was a good investment by Rogers. They've made some money on that. Anyway, long story short, I think Nathan MacKinnon's worth every penny of that and probably $4 or $5 million more. Good for him. Good for the Avs. Good for Avs fans. That's fantastic.
And only 2 years older than Connor McDavid.
And the Avs will be able to make a trade come trade deadline to replace whatever they might need at the center position. I also think, can't JT Compher and some of those guys can step up, right?
They can. And
they may not be Kadri, but
Alex Newhook needs to take a step. They have some really good young pieces. Justus Annunen in net is a really interesting one. And I think their back end is going to be a strength for a long time. Their bottom six, if I remember correctly, basically doesn't change from the Stanley Cup final, except I think they lost Jack Johnson.
Okay.
Maybe. And Bowen Byram was only getting better. They're going to be great. They're still going to be great.
Yeah.
Let's not be worried about the Avs contending.
Yeah,
they're going to be
fine.
a good team.
I got plenty to worry about.
Their own team?
Yeah.
What? You go and win a cup and make money? Fuck you, man. Anyway.
Arturi Lehkonen was an unreal pickup for them at the deadline.
So true. Who doesn't love cereal?
Think of the worst person you know. Them.
Yeah, agreed. But the thing is, when you're adult, adult cereals taste bland. I remember my dad just have some wheat. Literally just be like, there's some wheat and he'd put some milk on it.
I believe Steve called them Hey-Yos.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Literally. But Magic Spoon has truly innovated and changed the game with sugary cereals, except that they're not sugary. They're really good for you. 13 to 14 grams of protein and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs per serving. It's low-carb, keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and only 140 calories per serving. Cocoa, fruity frosted, peanut butter, blueberry muffin, maple waffle. These are just some of the flavors that you can get. And if you go to magicspoon.com/STP to grab a custom bundle of cereal, try it for yourself. Use the promo code STP at checkout to save $5 off your first order. And Magic Spoon, so confident in their order, they got a 100% money back guarantee.
That's very confident.
If you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions.
Wow.
None.
That's the kind of confidence that
It should be at like 110%. They should like give you money.
you know? I don't know that they want to do that.
Also, I feel like they might ask some questions. Like,
Okay, right.
where do you live?
Remember, you get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/STP and
What's
use the
your
code STP to save $5 off. There have been a lot of weddings this year, and that means sometimes you have a couple drinks. If you try Z-Biotics and you drink it beforehand, it might just help you out. Z-Biotics is a pre-alcohol probiotic, the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut, and it feels toxic, doesn't it?
Sure does.
That it's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough gut the next day. Z-Biotics produces an enzyme to break that byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it the most. Just remember, Z-Biotics, you drink before alcohol, drink responsibly, get a good night's sleep, and have your best tomorrow. And Z-Biotics, we want you to give it a try. Go to zbiotics.com/STP and get 15% off your first order when you use that promo code SDP at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Halloween is right around the corner, so order a pack of Z-Biotics for you and your friends today to make sure you get it in time for candy and cocktails. zbiotics.com/STP. Use the code STP at checkout for 15% off. What a bet? You can do it at Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook. Football is back. We're already in week 3, guys.
Wow.
Like the Steelers play on Thursday.
Again. For the thrice time.
Baseball playoffs are coming. Hockey season right around the corner. You can bet pregame, live and play, or in one of the many prop bets like we talked about today. Made for Canadians by Canadians. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now to see all that sports betting has to offer. Just head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. Ontario only, 19 plus. Please play responsibly. This is something that came out yesterday. As I told you, we're going to try to come up with the news that was today and then yesterday and then maybe some of last week, although some of it may have to be held over. Rick Westhead. This I'm going to tell you, this sucks.
Yeah.
And we're not going to spend too much time on it because really it will only take a couple of minutes for it to sink in about how stupid this is. But I'm going to read it out to you. It's going to become apparent. And then Steve, Jesse, take it away. According to Rick Westhead, a market research firm working with Hockey Canada is asking parents and others to complete a survey addressing Hockey Canada's sexual abuse scandal. One question asks if respondents agree or disagree with the statement, quote, the level of criticism by the media towards Hockey Canada is overblown. Now, you can answer this in a strongly agree, somewhat disagree, strongly disagree, don't know. So, what do you want to say, man?
I can't wait till they're done. I really can't wait until they finally, mercifully, shut the fuck up. Hockey Canada is the worst.
Why are they defiant?
They're defiant. The word was on the tip of my tongue, Adam. They're defiant about how they're the worst. And here's the thing, and I sort of realized this because with the Kyle Beach story, like, that really became all-consuming. Like, we knew that story back to front, and because there wasn't room for error, frankly, when talking about it. And in talking to people who are hockey fans, but they're not, like, as entrenched, and it was also sort of a summer story when it broke, all they hear all the time on every broadcast is Hockey Canada, and they hear, oh, this politician is talking about it, and then it goes all the way up to the Prime Minister, and they're like, gee, what is the Prime Minister talking about this for? More than once. Goodness gracious. And it's on the regular news, not just the sports news. I can see how someone who doesn't really fully understand the story, I could see how someone would think, that the story is overblown. But that's why I tweeted yesterday that the only possible way to think the story is overblown is if you know little to nothing about it. This isn't overblown at all. And I was waiting to pick my spot because, I want to have fun shows. I want the show to be nothing but fun. I would love for something like this to never happen again, so we don't have to talk about it. We've talked about having light content, especially heading into the season.
Hopeful, exciting time.
Exciting. It's going to be really newsy. I talked about how I was at NHL Media Day and I had a great time, and I would love to just sit here and talk about nothing but how shining and amazing that experience is. But then Hockey Canada comes in again. And the question I wanted to ask, or the point I wanted to make, is we've taken our foot off the gas here. We've forgotten, with NHL training camp set to open tomorrow, I guess, that the story that started this all is there are 7 or 8 players accused of sexual assault who are very likely on NHL deals and very likely playing in the NHL. If not all of them, then the majority of them. And that is hanging over this, the beginning of the season, and there isn't a resolution, and we don't know who the players are. You don't know if, did you buy the jersey for someone who's been accused of sexual assault? You don't know. You have no idea. I wonder when the Jake Virtanen jerseys go on sale. But you have no idea. And people have forgotten, because it's been layer upon layer upon layer of shit for Hockey Canada, that the 2003 World Junior team is also under police investigation.
The Halifax police have reported they have 2 names associated with, they've seen the video. There is a video.
There's a video, not an alleged video. There's an honest to goodness actual video of a sexual assault, purportedly by members of the 2003 Canadian World Junior Team. And we're all just supposed to be like, so what are you wearing? You know,
Yeah.
so are you in the best shape of your life again?
I got to tell you, the one thing I'll disagree with you on, because I agree with you on all this,
Sure.
is I don't think that we, the fans, haven't done our part.
No, I'm the collective.
Okay, because I would say that the outrage that we saw in the spring and into the early summer was just about what you would hope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
It's okay. The NHL has an issue here, but they're bound by process, right? There's only so much the NHL can do when I don't know if the NHL has the names, and the NHL certainly isn't going to tell you they have the names. Do I have the faith that the NHL is going to act right unless they're forced to? Absolutely not. I'm with you on that. But what I want to say is I need our MPs, our elected officials who fund and created this organization in the first place to get on this now. Like, I understand the Queen died, but can we get on this, please? Like, what and I understand that you need your summer break, but there are children who were assaulted. I need our governments to step up. It's a government agency. It's government funded. Do something now.
Yeah. Okay.
I know you need your summer vacation. I know all that, but we need to do this now. And it needs to get out of the way. And the other question I have on this, guys. Okay, so they're working with a marketing firm. Why? Number one. Number two, whenever a marketing firm puts out research like that, there's usually, and Jesse and I remember this from the radio side, they used to put out these kind of questionnaires about our morning show. Like, do you like them? Do you not like them? Are they too mature? Are they too immature? We got really high immaturity scores. And we still are. The question I always ask is, what are you going to do with this information? So you're asking this question, okay? Is it overblown? Is the media coverage, the media, overblowing this, okay? And the way that they position it is very, and I hate to say this, very Trumpian, right? It's like, the media's after Hockey Canada. That's the real enemy.
I would just say bad faith.
And so then this market research company gets it. Whether people answer, yes, it's overblown, or no, it's not overblown, what changes about what caused all this?
Right.
Is this marketing firm going to then dictate how the executive of Hockey Canada attacks this in the press? Because they are being defiant.
The question should be, aren't you sick of this even though you know nothing about it? And I could see it.
Like, I just don't get what you do with that information, no matter what the answer is.
Right.
Well, what does that further? How does that help us get to, we need to reform this organization?
Whether you think it's overblown or not doesn't change what is or isn't.
That's what you're right. You said that perfectly.
It doesn't change what is or isn't. And like one of them is on video. Like, what else do you want? What else do you want? That you're telling me that's not a national scandal?
Oh, it is.
It's absolutely
but it's an overblown national scandal.
That they have a rainy day fund for just such an occasion that an entire team or half a team or whatever gets accused of assault.
It shocks me that this organization hasn't been taken away from the people who are running it and have been running it for the last several years and decades and continue to run it through the scandal. Like, how are all the people who are above Hockey Canada okay with everything that's been going on and seeing it not be like, okay, let's just fire them? Let's bring in a new regime, because this clearly is not working.
I think Hockey Canada is potentially taking advantage of the fact that this is not necessarily a priority for the government. I mean, they did have hearings for it, which is far more than I think a lot
Let's
of people
be honest, they got lucky with the timing. It's summer.
Yeah.
And people needed a break from hockey in the summer.
Yeah. And they keep going, hey, did you forget yet? Did you forget yet? And I'm here to tell you, fuck all that. The answer is no. And they're not going to forget as long as I'm here, bud. Mm-hmm. So,
and in between our last two episodes, Rick Westhead did report that they are investigating a third incident. So Rick Westhead wrote, Hockey Canada confirmed to me, in addition to alleged incidents in 2003 and 2018, it has hired two Ottawa area lawyers, Aaron Durant and Brian Ward, to weigh merits of a third sexual assault allegation.
And that shouldn't surprise you, because in the hearings, they said this happens at least once or twice a year.
Yeah. And it's going to get it's going to get buried. It's going to get buried. There's an unbelievable amount of noise right now, and that's unavoidable. But I think this needs to be included in basically every piece of hockey coverage until there's a resolution, which there isn't yet. And part of what brought this to the forefront is the Oilers inviting Jake Virtanen to camp.
Yeah, so we can let's talk about that because you know,
Connor McDavid's 2015 World Junior teammate.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, like a lot of maybe it's Ken Holland, just like this kid was picked 6th overall, strong as an ox, big body frame. A lot of people pointing out Bob Nicholson, who's like the head of the Oilers. I don't know if Bob Nicholson is going to be like, yeah, we need a 4th liner on a PTO, please. Like, I don't know if that's exactly his priority, but
well, and don't forget Bob Nicholson. This is the thing, right? The problem with what hockey has been so far, it's like, I don't care what happens off the ice. I just care about what's on the ice. I care about winning.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you're in a team environment, these guys then they go and they turn around and they go, well, that guy had bad character. We had to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of, the Oilers have an interesting PR thing happening here.
Yeah.
And by interesting, I mean not pleasant, because you already have Evander Kane with the allegations that he's had leveled at him.
Yeah.
And I say allegations because they're not proven in court, but there's some pretty detailed accounts of what happened there. And then you've got Jake Virtanen, who a jury did not find innocent. They just found it insufficient evidence to prove that he's guilty.
And see, people are going to roll their eyes at that, but there's an extraordinary difference between the two.
In Canada, it's not, I think in the States it's proven innocent. In Canada, it's not proven innocent. It's proven not guilty. There's a big difference.
Yeah,
and there's still a civil lawsuit that is pending against Jake Virtanen. He needs to face that in court.
And are the Oilers that hard up for fringe NHL guys? It's like, listen,
they didn't need to do this.
With Evander Kane, it's like, okay, so here's a guy with not generational talent, but like top of the line talent.
It sure seemed generational in the playoffs.
Sure did. Okay, so let's say generational talent. Here's a guy with insane talent, and he's got a really bad set of allegations set. And so the team goes, you know what? We're going to have to suck that up because I want 13 goals in 13 games from a forward in the playoffs, and that's what they got.
Yeah, we're trying to win, right. And they got all the way to the third round.
What does Jake Virtanen give you?
I don't know, man. Like
he couldn't even make the Canucks, who were not a playoff team.
Yeah, man. There's so many guys who I think can give you more than Jake Virtanen.
Sonny Milano in Calgary, who signed a PTO.
Yeah, there's an interesting one.
Yeah. Oh my God, Sonny Milano with a PTO. So I don't like, what is this?
Yeah, with the on ice stuff, it didn't make sense for Jake Virtanen. And then you add the off ice stuff to it. So why would you ever take a chance on this guy?
Yeah, like if he wasn't Jake Virtanen, I'd be like, well, he didn't do very well in the KHL last year or in the NHL previously, but it's got that 6th overall pick pedigree, and you think, oh, maybe it works. But with everything surrounding it, like, you're not winning over hearts and minds of Oilers fans here.
Mm-hmm. It was a no-win situation, and they decided to do it.
I don't.
And with the Evander Kane conversation, they ended up settling the thing I've been hoping for in my mind to happen, where they went to arbitration about his Sharks contract, and then the arbitrator ruled that he would be a San Jose Shark, and then they had to fight,
get traded,
and then they had to fight for his rights or something like that. That none of that came to fruition, and they settled outside of the arbitration before it even got there because the arbitrator was on vacation all summer. And then the Sharks made him whole with the contract, so he is officially an Edmonton Oiler.
Yeah,
just
they
update
had
that
to
situation.
Pay the difference or whatever it was.
They pay the difference of the money.
Did they pay the difference of his current contract, or did they just pay out the old one?
The difference of the one that was signed.
Okay.
Yeah, because Oilers are paying him X amount. He was being paid X
So it's like what they do with coaches,
whatever.
right? The coaches, if a coach is making $4 million, he gets fired, and his next job he's making $2 million, and he's still under contract. The other team that fired him is still under contract.
Kind of.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, they just made up
that story.
They
just
made up the old contract.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I know we're slowly drifting away from it, but
yes.
there's so many stories to follow with the NHL right now. And with Hockey Canada, and a lot of them are negative. And I would say I don't think you can have an opinion on the coverage of Hockey Canada unless you've actually consumed it. Like, oh yeah, you saw a 2-minute newscast about no. You got to read about this thing.
Yes, but listen, I can understand if you got a couple of kids and you're busy and life's hectic that you haven't caught up on every news story.
Me too.
And I can understand having an ill-informed opinion.
Yeah.
I think, Steve, you were correct when you said it the first time. Anybody that thinks the coverage is overblown hasn't paid close enough attention to the story. And to expect that every person in the entire world is going to be able to catch this, it's not a reasonable thing. What I'm just genuinely concerned about the defiant nature of Hockey Canada right now. They should be kowtowing. They should be apologizing. They should be handing everything over. And what they're doing is going, we're not resigning. We're not changing. Okay, but we'll work with some people and we'll look at some things. But we're making changes, guys. We're making changes. I don't believe it. And that's where my problem comes from. I don't expect the average person to know everything about every story. I don't. You can't.
No,
I don't.
I totally agree. But whether you know about the story or not, whether you think it's overblown or not, does not affect what is or isn't.
Right, which brings me back. What's the point of the question in the first place? So we'll move on from that. It's a tough one to move on from, but I don't know where else we go from this.
Can I tell you the point?
Yeah.
If enough people say it's overblown, Hockey Canada gets to go to sponsors and go, see, they don't care. There it is.
That's
Right.
true.
It's a financial question.
Okay, so I'm going to save some other stuff for our next show. Some good news. I shouted her out earlier in the show, but Rachel Dory is now a part of Bruce Boudreau's coaching staff.
Woo!
So direct part.
cool.
That's pretty
Hey,
neat.
that's awesome.
So good for her. Really happy for her. I wondered if you saw that Sean Couturier could be done for the year.
Oh, man.
Philly, just salt in the wound.
And like, there's another career potentially getting cut short.
He's such an unbelievable player.
He's a really, really good player. There was Nolan Patrick as well.
Yeah.
There's another he was a second overall pick. People are talking about him like he's a bust. Like, no, man, his body is failing him because he's sustained so many injuries, and the back is such a tough one.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
that's not Patrick, that's Couturier.
Right.
Yeah.
This made me think of you because sometimes I'll be like, okay, the defense of the Flyers is that everybody was injured last year. And then you're always like, but you have a bunch of guys who were frequently injured. Like Sean Couturier last year was a reason they weren't as successful because he only played 29 games. He was injured for most of it.
But that's
what you're getting into when you sign these players.
I feel horribly for Sean Couturier personally. But the Flyers team, guys, he's frequently injured, and so was Ryan Ellis. Now, Couturier is a little different. He's a young, perennial Selke conversation guy who they locked up and then continued to run into injury problems. Ryan Ellis is a different situation from him because they acquired a guy who was often injured, and then he was injured again, and they're like, oh, well, if only
he played.
And it's like, that was always the risk, man.
Yeah.
That was always the risk to a much, much, much lower stakes extent. Like when the Leafs got Andre Kasha,
Right.
it's okay, we know he's not playing 82 games.
Yes.
It's simply not
If
happening.
he plays in half the games, great.
He'll be good.
Tortorella, remember we mentioned last week, said there's some problems in the dressing room. You would have thought Couturier would be one of the guys that would be part of the new leadership group. Difficult to do that. And we saw that in the Amazon documentary when you're not playing.
Well, yeah.
I think nights against the Flyers are going to be long.
Yeah.
They're
Sorry,
gonna
nights
get-
against the Flyers?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, it was another thing from 32 Thoughts. So this team is not going to beat you on skill.
They're going to beat you.
Not even close. Yeah, they are going to physically beat you. They're going to.
They got the size to do that.
They got the size to do that. I think they're going to lead the league in cross-checking penalties in front of the net. They're going to go with they can't call them all strategy.
Because they won't.
Because they can, but they won't. And it is going to be a very, very, very long night every time you play the Flyers, whether you escape with 2 points or not.
Matt Barzal talked at the NHL thing that you were at to Greg Wyshynski. And one of the things he said, and I love this.
Kidding.
Yeah, no, I love Wish. One of the things he said was that he'd like to see hockey move to only 2 refs. So one linesman, one referee, which is what it used to be. And his contention is, and I think he's right on this one, there's too many people on the ice. He said they are constantly in the way. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I mean, listen, the one thing that the 2 ref thing has always been weird to me because you have 2 different people calling the game differently. Steve and I could say, okay, we're going to call the game tight tonight. Tight to Steve is going to be different than me, right? And so Steve might make a call that I would have been like, that's tight, but not tight enough.
Yeah.
Or Steve could say, I'm too tight and he's too loose. You know, that has always been strange. And then to have 2 linesmen, I mean, do we need to know if it's offside that badly? We do have instant replay. I feel like he might be onto something here. Do we not have the technology now where we can remove some bodies?
So here's all I'm picturing. If you've ever seen the 1976 film Network, you have meddled with the primal forces of nature, Mr. Beale, where he walks into that scary dark room. Here's what I'm picturing. Matt Barzal is standing outside of it. Barry Trotz opens the door and he goes, sit down. And at the end of a 20-kilometer table is Lou Lamoriello, draped in darkness and smoke. And he goes, so you went to the NHL player tour, Matt? Yeah. How was it? It was fine. I played a little slots. Did you win? Not really. No, I broke even. That's nice. So you spoke to the media. There's your first mistake. Second, Matt, what's the strategy? I'm not sure what you mean, sir. Well, we got to manage the refs at every turn. We got to manage the linesmen. We got to manage the officials when it comes to penalty. And you decided to say into a microphone that there should be less of them? And you think that's going to win hearts and minds, Matt? Oh boy, he might be the highest paid player at Bridgeport by the end of this. Oh boy, Matthew. I don't know about that one, Matthew.
I'm going to tell you why this doesn't make sense. The referees are very good at their jobs. There's only one referee in the zone, in whichever zone they're managing.
But one of them's high in calling penalties.
No, but they're not in the way of the play. So if the guy isn't where the zone would be, where the puck is. So if you take away a ref off the ice, there's still the same amount of ref where the play is.
I think
because the other ref isn't where the play is.
And I think by ref he's meaning linesman, because the linesmen are always along the boards and they're the ones that get in the way.
I get yelled at for this all the time in my videos, especially on my Sportsnet ones. If you're wearing a black and white jersey, you're the ref. That's what I say. I don't bother with linesman
I'm not specifying the refs and linesmen here.
Official or ref.
They're very good at separating themselves from the puck and the play, and one's standing behind, one's in the play. So the linesman will be at the same location, just one of them, but then the other one's behind it. So and then the calls thing, the more eyes you get it more right.
The greatest example of what Barzal is talking about is YouTube. Tyler Seguin yells at ref.
What does he say?
Because Seguin is digging for the puck in the corner, and he's trying to elude a defenseman, and he just goes, "There you are again!" And the refs like yells something inaudible at him, basically like "Fuck off!" There you are again.
Yeah,
and I don't think they won over. I don't think Tyler won hearts and minds.
No, probably not.
Day. No,
I'm sorry, Barzal, but this has never happened.
By the way, it did happen. It used to be that way, and they instituted the second ref, and even pro referee guy Ron McLean was against it.
For what reason?
Because it clutters play. And you get too many minds managing the game, too many cooks in the kitchen, which was a problem when they first started, and I think they've sort of figured that out now. I do think, honestly,
it's a lot of people, man.
It is a lot of people. You have almost another full line of people out there other than the players that are playing.
Yeah. I love the
basketball is a fast game too. What are they? One guy?
No, they got a couple of people. I think it's 3 on the court.
Okay, so what if it was 3? What if it's 2 linesmen and 1 ref? And what if you have, and you've seen this before, you've seen the ref make the call from center. That's torpering when the guy in front of him who is 5 feet away is not making that call.
You know what basketball officials can do? Step out of bounds.
Yeah.
You can't do that on an ice surface unless you do that little hoppy up on the bench, but you're still.
Wouldn't it be funny if
taking up
basketball
space.
officials couldn't make a call if they were forced to step out of bounds?
Oh, no, you're not eligible. I can do whatever I want.
That's a toe.
Elbow to the neck. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just so you know, Nathan MacKinnon, $49 million of his contract will be paid out in the next three seasons.
Oh.
$15 million signing bonus today. $15 million next season. Or I guess if we're getting specific, $15.725 million. Next July 1st, I guess. Or sorry. Excuse me. Let me start that whole segment again because
Adam got married.
He still makes $5.9 million this year.
Yeah.
So his signing bonus, July 1st, 2023 is 15.725. Then 2024, 15.725. And then 25, 15.25 million. And then he actually has some non-bonus years, or one non-bonus year, and then a bunch of bonus.
I'm glad people know that now.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I think that was great.
You know what?
So people can just be like,
You know what,
I think that was great.
You know what?
No, thank you.
Listen, all I want to say is that he's avoiding any sort of lockout. Most of the time.
Oh boy, we're going to start seeing a lot of this, eh?
Other than 1 year, he is going to make max $990,000 a year.
Matthews, like first year on his new deal is going to be like $20 million.
Oh yeah. No, Matthews is going to get 13 or 14 next summer when they resign him.
The Coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, putting my bet down right now. Leafs.
Leafs?
It'll be Leafs.
What?
Yeah.
That like Matthews will re-sign with the team.
Of course he will. Yeah. I don't want people, again, Brian Burke got into people's heads and it's never left. It's one of the best earworms I've ever seen. He's better than Mambo number 5, Brian Burke.
Good for him. Ron Hextall's boss.
There you go. Ron Hextall, who was on Agent Provocateur with Alan Walsh last week.
Check that out, you silly geese.
My favorite story from that, by the way, was that Ron Hextall, when he won the cup with LA as a manager, brought the cup to his cottage in Manitoba, and then a whole bunch of people saw it and were like, hey, it's the cup. And then a bunch of people showed up at his house and he had to leave.
Oh my God, what?
He had to like run away. Yeah, you got to hear the story. It's great.
It's
okay. Very funny. Very, very funny. It's very Canada. It's like, that's the cup. Call everyone you know.
I kind of love that, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's the best. And you know what? There's some stuff I want to talk about, obviously, with Blake Wheeler and the Jets, but I think we'll save that for Friday. Yeah. So we will talk about that, and there's probably going to be some other things between now and then as well.
Did the Wheeler stuff happen after our last recording?
It did.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude,
And
we need to go back to 3 days a week.
I know. We're doing it. Dom Lucian also called the Coyotes the worst collection of talent his model has ever seen.
They're still going to overachieve.
I know, but we'll see that on Friday. He said that they're going to underachieve the worst team he's ever seen by 10 points. He isn't projected for 62 points.
It just never works that way.
Yeah.
It just never works that way.
And watch what I do with that team in NHL 23.
Is that what you're going to? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Throw that model out the window.
The turnaround comes out. We should get, you know what we should do? We should reach out to Craig Morgan.
Okay.
And we should have him come on and like report on your team. On the turnaround of the Arizona Coyotes.
Don't make real humans report on my video game team.
What's Craig doing? Come on, Craig.
Hey, Craig. So,
what are you doing? Busy working?
Oh, is it a busy week? Shut up.
This guy Jesse sits in front of a webcam and plays video games. Can you tell me what you think?
One of the most trusted names in the NHL. Sure, yeah. Come on our video game stream.
Shut up.
Anyway,
it's not insulting.
No, it's not. I'm just having fun, man.
I traded 8 draft picks the first day for Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
What do you think, Craig Morgan?
You should get Austin Matthews. Got to be the first thing you do.
That's the plan.
All right. All right.
Good luck.
So listen, we won't do a press conference today. We'll save it for next time. But until then, we love you and we hope that you are well. And we will see you Friday.
Ranger Stars trade.
Oh, yeah. Nils Lundqvist.
Jeez.
First round pick going the other way.
Wow,
that's crazy.
We need to. Yeah. Here, let's do a quick segment on that. Boy, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Agreed. Flip it.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.